For decades, serotonin has been typecast as the neurotransmitter responsible for mood, sleep, and psychedelic visions of sentient galaxies. But now, something fascinating is happening. Aging researchers, those typically knee-deep in senescent cells, mitochondria, and telomeres, are turning their gaze towards serotonin receptors not for their psychological effects, but for their surprisingly wide-ranging roles in systemic aging and cellular repair. The once narrowly defined happy hormone system is now looking like a Swiss Army knife for aging biology. Here's the plot twist. Serotonin receptors aren't confined to your brain. In fact, a massive majority of them, up to 90%, are scattered throughout the body, especially in the gut, immune cells, cardiovascular system, liver, kidneys, and even bone tissue. These receptors, collectively known as the 5-HT, 5-hydroxytryptamine, receptor family, are a sprawling network of G-protein-coupled sensors that play roles far beyond mood regulation. And scientists are beginning to realize that tapping into them could affect the very machinery of aging itself. Let's start with 5-HT2A and 5-HT2C receptors, both famous for mediating the effects of psychedelics. When stimulated, they promote neuroplasticity, synaptogenesis, and the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, features that are highly relevant in preventing age-related cognitive decline. But new research suggests these receptors also influence vascular repair, immune modulation, and metabolic flexibility, even in peripheral tissues. Think of them as adaptive switches. When flicked on just right, they can nudge aging systems toward regeneration rather than degradation. Then there's the 5-HT3 receptor, found on vagal afferents and gut epithelial cells, which influences inflammation, nausea responses, and gut-brain signaling. Aging isn't just about wrinkling skin. It's a story of smoldering inflammaging, especially in the gut. Stimulating or blocking certain serotonin pathways could reduce age-related intestinal permeability, modulate the microbiome, and improve nutrient absorption. One study in older mice showed that tweaking serotonin signaling in the gut actually improved immune surveillance and slowed systemic inflammatory markers. It's serotonin, but make it gastrointestinal anti-aging. Other receptor subtypes, like 5-HT1A and 5-HT7, appear to regulate circadian rhythm, thermoregulation, and sleep architecture, all deeply tied to health span. Aging disrupts circadian coordination across organs, leading to fatigue, hormonal chaos, and metabolic decline. By modulating serotonin receptors in the hypothalamus and pineal gland, researchers are exploring ways to restore youthful patterns of melatonin production and core temperature regulation. Picture serotonin not just helping you feel good, but also helping your body remember what time it is. There's also growing interest in how serotonin receptors influence stem cell activity. In bone marrow and skin, 5-HT receptors seem to affect cell proliferation and differentiation. Some preclinical data suggest serotonin signaling may preserve the regenerative potential of tissue-resident stem cells well into late life, without genetic manipulation or cell transplants. Not bad for a molecule once relegated to just feelings. So, why haven't we heard more about this until now? In part because the psychiatric framing of serotonin has been so dominant. When you hear serotonin, you think depression or psychedelics, not your liver's repair cycle. But as whole-body maps of receptor expression become more detailed, and as researchers test low-dose psychedelics and serotonin-modulating compounds in models of cardiovascular disease, frailty, and inflammation, the connections are becoming impossible to ignore. And let's not forget the pharmaceutical implications. Many SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, and 5-HT receptor agonists already exist. If repurposed or fine-tuned, some of these might serve as longevity drugs, enhancing organ resilience, slowing neurodegeneration, or improving metabolic homeostasis, without necessarily requiring daily microdoses of psychedelic mushrooms or mind-altering adventures through your subconscious. Of course, we're still in the early innings. The key will be understanding which receptors to target, in which tissues, and at what doses, especially to avoid side effects like serotonin syndrome or serotonin-mediated fibrosis. But one thing is clear, serotonin is no longer just a brain chemical, it's an aging regulator hiding in plain sight. And in the years to come, the serotonin system might just become one of the most unexpected and oddly poetic tools in our quest for longer, healthier lives. So yes, your mood matters, but your serotonin receptors may matter even more to your mitochondria, your immune system, and your aging clock. Who knew that the same molecule that makes you love jazz at 3 a.m. might also help keep your kidneys, brain, and gut spry at 83?